Good morning. Thank you for joining me here today. If you found yourself here, there may be a message for your healing journey, soul's evolution, transformation, or simply information. Today, I would like to talk about an empath and maybe where the skills and ability maybe came. Was it something you were born with, or maybe the personality was developed due to childhood trauma? So there's small things can tell about a person and their psychology and their personality. If somebody, usually because I was a teacher, you can tell if somebody talks fast or continues to interrupt, trying to get their words out. Maybe they were raised in a family where they were seen and not heard and their opinion did not matter, or old school where women's words don't matter because it was a man's world. Well, it's not, and it never was. But old school is traditional. There's nothing wrong with roles and genders. I still believe in a lot of old school fashion rules and gender roles and things like that, except for we're all in the workforce. But you kind of have to pick a lane. It's important. But if somebody's constantly interrupting you and maybe they felt like they don't matter, it's about a way to be heard, speaking fast and interrupting so nobody gets anything spoken. You'll notice this at meetings too. If you have them or you are in a group setting, somebody wants to speak out. So in a class setting, you give baton and you have the speaking baton, or you have raise your hand and you can speak, even the speaker, house speaker, everybody has a turn, right? So maybe you've become more empathetic or caring than others. I know for myself, I've always been like that. My grandfather was like that on my dad's side, the kindest person you could ever meet. That's what I remember. And he was so kind. No matter what happened, and he had a stroke at a young age, he was still so kind. And everybody said that at his funeral. And I think about Grandpa Gene all the time. What a beautiful human being. You could see the sadness in his eyes a lot of times because how he was treated in unfair life as at 38. How awful. And his own wife left him because of an ailment. Well, grandmother moved on to somebody else who was a wonderful person, very nice person. So as children, we don't know the story until we know the story, right? But I loved him. He was so kind, always gave hugs and treats and nice words and never missed a birthday and always knew that you were loved, right? So as an empathic, caring person, I had a lot of faith in him and he me. So that was really important because those are oak trees that we have. I also have that on my mother's side, my grandparents, who I basically, they were my parents. When they died, it was like my parents died. It was wrenching for me. I even asked my grandpa to give me away at my wedding, but he passed away prior to doing so. So empathetic people feel on many different levels. We feel, see, and hear things. And I've had that my whole life. So if you grew up in an abusive home, I have childhood wounds from there, and I feel those, knowing that the higher aspects are, they too have had childhood trauma and wounds. So at a young age, I understood that, but still, you look back, it's not okay for them to do the same thing to you because they're unhealed. But as an adult, you understand the bigger picture and you love them unconditionally and no wavering. So caring person can see the abuse and feel it, so they have compassion for it. And we're the most caring people you can ever imagine. But a lot of times we get taken advantage of because people think it's our vulnerability makes you weak. Well, actually, it's the strength that pulls us through, and our faith over fear, hope for our healing journey. We're the ones you call when you need something, but will never admit it. I have a lot of people in my life that do that. They don't want anybody to know that they called the intuitive empath to help, and I'm happy to do it because it makes them happy, and they would never tell anybody. It doesn't matter. Why? Because if you're given God, you can help somebody and their children or their family, it's a blessing all the way around. And they do other things to help you. in different ways in your family. So it's equal give and take. It's not just take, take. Those that are intuitive and empath have a lot of people take, take, take. And it's not okay because then you feel wounded, just like you were as a child. People make fun of you, they laugh at you, but they're the ones that call you secretly needing your help, right? So be humbled and be grateful for your gifts. And if you can help in any which way, shape, or form, humanity, lifting the vibration for people in pain. Nobody needs to suffer in silence. I don't care what they do. If they're asking and they're humble, I'm there. I've been at hospital beds, on people's deathside, holding their hand, and they're asking for forgiveness. And they're looking at you with fear in their eyes. And you say, everything's okay. When you ask, you shall receive. And be humble. And they can release themselves. Or tell my children this, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll have them write a letter and I'll give it to them. And then maybe counsel them later. Lots of tears in my office. I had an office of people who were angry and they had no clue what their mother went through. And her deathbed was at peace. So it's important to know the difference and release what you think you know versus the truth. It's okay to have emotions. Trouble expressing emotions. Sometimes people have that too. They hold on to them, they discard them, they basically keep their emotions, or they do a lot of things to mask or mimic their emotions and stuff it. Addictions are great for hiding emotions and hiding the heart. If your heart has been hurt, you go for other things that don't involve heart, right? And then you don't get hurt. That's kind of the theory. But eventually you will. Maybe you'll have a puppy or something, or a neighbor that shows you care. And when they pass on, you have a heart ping and it hurts. So, getting back to healing your trauma so you can experience love at the highest form will bring you abundance on all levels. I'm not saying it's easy, it hurts. Trust me, I know. But get to the bottom, peel that onion, and sit in your oak tree. Find your roots of happiness and save yourself. Why? Because you matter. Emotions are just part of life. How long you sit there and how long you allow them to be trapped in your body, a safe, sacred space. It's time to release them. A lot of times, if you've had trauma or you've been a victim of abuse, hold that trauma in your body. It lies in your body. And yes, you can put on 50 pounds and nobody's business because you've been traumatized, victimized, used, abused, and tortured. And yes, it's a protective mechanism. When you release that situation, you walk away. It's like a snake. It actually sheds off of you. Go walk on the beach and watch it wash away, tied in, tied out. Just think of that, energetic wise. Release what no longer serves. So, the emotions from childhood, past relationships, or abuse, it's free to release. And you can unpack it, unfold it. Hell, I don't care if you put it in a little spinner or tote, throw it in the lake and watch it go down the stream, or watch it float off in the sunset of an ocean. Let it take it away. Be at peace with your harmony in your body, mind, and soul. Release the drama, release the gossip, release the shame, release the fear, release the trauma, and release what somebody said is your fault. Does it matter whose fault it is? If you're holding sacred space for it, let it go. It doesn't matter anymore. Accept the things you cannot change and the wisdom and the great discernment to know the difference. Stop blaming everybody else. Heal yourself. Save yourself. You don't go into an ocean with sharks and just say, whatever, whatever. Some people do. But then you come back and have to relive it. No, you watch the tide and maybe you go in and surf a little bit. The waves bring you back in to say you're not done yet. You may be face down in the sand and the sun's beating on your head saying, time to get up, get some water, take a walk. The sun is rising. It's a new day. Release what no longer serves. Yes, all your family trauma, all your family grief, all your family pain, sorrow, shame. It's time to release it. Have eye contact with the person that has hurt you. even if it's on their deathbed, and say, I forgive you. I forgive you, and I release whatever pain, shame, trauma, fear, and sorrow is attached to it, and I pray for your healing. Even if it hurts, and I can feel a lot of people's heart pinging up right now, the surging of emotions, and it's okay. We're going to release it today with love. Circle back to heart center. Transcend that trauma back to your heart. That is the highest form of love and love for yourself. Forgive yourself. The actions you take today are important. If the words don't align with who you are, it's time to let it go. If somebody's untrustworthy in your life, release it. If it's unjust, let it go. Justice will be served. Karma does play out. You may not see it. The law in your own hands. It never works. It's never worth your life to be behind bars because of what somebody's done to you. But you can bring awareness and protect yourself. If you are in an abusive situation, bring attention to those who can help you. And be present. We all know where we've been, whether we spoke about it or not. If you can't shout it down Main Street, then you have some healing to do. And this is because I care. And I want you to care about yourself because you've got time to unpack, unfold the trauma, no matter what. There's people who understand. And I've walked in the shoes. Trust me, I know. You can release it, unpack and unfold. It may not be around the people that actually did this to you. It'll be your soul family, your soul tribe. It'll be the book club. It'll be the baking club. It'll be your yoga class. It'll be your nature walk. It'll be a shamanic healer. And you will have a massive release. And you will actually feel your body tingle. Whether you're laying on the ground having a shamanic healing, a Reiki session, intuitive pain to release that trauma, or you do some Kundalini energy work and you let that trauma release through your body. That same breath work and energetic ping through your body, mind, and soul, your meridians, your tap points, your chakras, and everything else in between. It's the highest form of healing. Open your heart. It's what no longer serves. You're no longer a bird trapped in that cage. Time to release. I hope this helps today. Just remember to take care of you because you matter.